Today, we're going to be talking about some limiting beliefs that I see that people have around time. And I see this a lot. So this is why I'm going to address it. The first thing that I see is when people say, I don't have enough time. So they don't have enough time to focus on what's important in their business. They don't have enough time to create white space on their calendar. They don't have time for this. They don't have time for that. And we all have 24 hours in a day. And of course, as you build a team, you could free up more time. But even without a team, if you organize your life appropriately, you usually get more out of your time. But definitely by the point where you get to 20K a month, you're going to need to add people to the team and start to delegate things that you're not that good at so that you can focus on things that can produce money. And I think that it's just an excuse. And somebody actually caught themselves talking to me yesterday, a new member that joined. I said, do you create content? And she said, I don't have time for it. And then she stopped and she was like, oh no, I just haven't prioritized that. And that's really what that means. It's not that you don't have enough time. It's just that you haven't prioritized that. The next limiting belief is I have so much time. And that's just not true. At best, we have like 100 years. If you're Greek, maybe you have like 110. That's a little joke because in the Mediterranean, they live so long. And that's still not the longest amount of time. So I really do believe in this, how Gary Vee says in the macro, you have to have some type of patience, but in the micro, you should really be aggressive and impatient with what it is that you want to achieve. So don't act like you have all the time in the world. I think that that's something that I haven't had the luxury of struggling with, so to speak, because I am a cancer survivor. So since a child, I kind of had this innate understanding that time was a limited thing that we were given. And so I see sometimes 50-year-olds act like there's no urgency. They want to do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, there's not the action to back it up. And I see 40-year-olds the same thing. I see 35-year-olds. I see 60-year-olds. And for me, it comes down to action. So time is a thing that will work in your favor, I really believe, if you're doing the most to make the things that you want happen. So the next limiting belief is it takes a couple of years in your business to be profitable. And that's just not true either, because you can be profitable from day one, especially if you have a service-based online business. You can be profitable from your first client forward. You don't need to be like these huge companies like Uber or something that's still not profitable and on the books and they're public, they're worth over $1 billion, but apparently they're still not profitable. You don't want to apply those kind of principles to your scenario. I really believe that small business owners should be profitable from day one, especially if you're service-based. It's a little bit different with products, with physical products. The other limiting belief around time is that it takes 10 years to make $1 million, or it'll take you 5 years to get to a point in your business where you're making 6 figures. That's just your belief. And how Elon Musk has that quote that if you give yourself 3 weeks to clean your house, it's going to take 3 weeks. And this is a principle. But if your mom calls you or if your mother-in-law calls you right now and it's like, hey, I'm on my way, I'll be at your house in 45 minutes, and you weren't prepared, you're going to clean your house in 45 minutes and it's going to be sparkling clean. It's like a water jug. Water will take the form of the jug. It's kind of the same thing with our action. It will take the form of the amount of time that we allow it to live in, so to speak. So the best example I could give you right now is, what if your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your mom or dad call you right now and they are on their way? It's a surprise visit. Your house is a complete disaster and they're going to be there in 40 minutes. You're going to clean your house. It doesn't have to take that long to even reach 6 figures, especially if you have the right guidance. And I know this from personal experience. If someone can do this with no experience in a year, imagine how fast they could do it with guidance, with a mentor, with a coach. That's also the way that you have to look at time, is that you need to start leveraging people to save you time. And in this example, you can do everything yourself, try to figure it out yourself, but maybe it takes you 5 years. You do it all yourself and you finally get to a point where you're making 100K a year. And it took you 5 years. But what if you could do that in 12 months? So in 1 year with the right guidance, you save yourself 4 years. And this is why coaches and effective ones charge you. Because if I'm saving you 4 years of your life, how much is that worth to you? And you can't even put a number on that. So when you see pricing from this point forward, think of it like, how much is your time worth for you and to you? So you can accelerate results and compress time by getting the right people in your circle. It doesn't take a long time to become profitable. It doesn't have to take 10 years, 5 years, 11 years, 12 years to become a 6 or 7 figure earner. The next one is, my prospect needs to think about it before joining. That's not true. That's usually just you validating the fact that they don't want to join and being afraid of not wanting to confront the real reason that they don't want to join, or the real doubt that they may have in your ability to deliver on your promise. Because if someone is already decided, if somebody really wants the results, if it's that important to them, they will join right now. If it's that important to you, you will push back in a good way so that if they don't want to join, it's not like you're pressing, but you're just asking, what is it that's holding you back from making this decision? Or what's the worst thing that in your mind could happen if you join? You want to address those fears. You don't just want to leave them in limbo and not talk about them and leave the elephant in the room. So just keep that in mind, that whatever amount of time right now it's taking you from taking a stranger to a prospect to a client, let's say it's taking you right now 3 weeks. And you tell yourself, oh, it can't be done unless it has to be 3 weeks or more. That's just a belief that you have. There's probably somebody out there that's doing it in half the time. Think outside the box. Think about the things that you can do to compress that amount of time. And it's probably them seeing you more. And this is where the marketing rule of 7 for me is dead, because people say, oh, people need to see you 7 times before they buy. That was a million years ago when people would only see 500 pieces of content a day. We're living where people probably see 500 pieces of content an hour. And so for me, at minimum, you have to 10x that rule to the rule of 70. So if somebody has to see you 70 times before they decide to buy, and you're not even posting 70 times a year, that's why you're saying that social media doesn't work for you. When in fact, it's not the fact that social media doesn't work. It's just the fact that you're not leveraging the channels appropriately to be seen as frequently as you need to be seen to cultivate trust, so that that person doesn't have to think about it and they're already decided to buy in before they even get on a phone call with you. These are just limiting beliefs that we have. Okay, so the next one is, my program can't be more than 6 weeks long, 8 weeks long. No one will buy 1 year coaching program or a 1 year mastermind program. Again, these are all limiting beliefs, because people certainly do, especially when they trust the person that they're buying it from. Another thing is, my consultations need to be 45 minutes long. They need to be 60 minutes long for me to deliver as much value as possible. Is that true? If you're going extremely deep, then that's amazing. And if your conversion rates at that time frame are exceptional, then that's amazing. But I see people that are doing 60-minute consultations, and then when I ask them, what's your conversion rate? They're like, I don't even track that. Or I close 1 out of 10 clients. And that's terrible. You should at least be, especially inbound, at like a 33% conversion rate. So try to hit 1 out of every 3 people should convert. Not in a week, not in 6 months, but within 24 hours or right then and there. You have to really start to look at how you see time in your business. The other thing is, how long is it taking your clients to get results? Because this is another thing that's a limiting belief. If you say to me, I can't get my clients results in less than 30 days, I'm going to be a little bit concerned. Because if you don't get them results within 30 days, they're not going to see any form of progress. And then they're probably going to give up on whatever it is that they're trying to achieve by working with you. Think of it like, if your client wants to lose weight, let's just use this example. They don't have to have a 6-pack in 30 days, but they do have to have some type of results. They do have to have new levels of energy. They do have to be on maybe their 14th day in a row in the gym eating healthy, and they've never reached 14 days of consistency before in their life without you. You also have to look at how can you help your clients get even better results than they're getting now in half the time, in a 10th of the time, because you just allowing those results to fill the form of that time frame is inhibiting your ability to differentiate. I could go on and on about the limiting beliefs that people have about time in their business. Another thing are meetings, internal meetings. The meeting has to be 60 minutes long. No, it doesn't. It does not at all, actually. My challenge for you today is try to look at your business objectively. Try to see where you can think differently and start to act differently around time so that you can start to differentiate as a coach, as a founder, as a business leader. And I hope that this helps. But have a beautiful day. Ciao.